3 Canada GP. Now we've got a few of our regular runners, well, 3 of our regular runners actually, who won't be competing this evening, unfortunately, due to other circumstances, but I'll run through those in just a little minute. So we're going to be doing 3 qualifying sessions. Just so you understand, we've got some drivers who have penalties that have been incurred during the race last week in Monaco, and because of that, well, we need to put them at the back of the grid. Now, the grain doesn't unfortunately allow us to do so. So what we're going to need to do is actually for them to disqualify themselves from the competition in Q1, so that they can then ensure that they're at the back of the grid. So that's the explanation for what you may or may not understand. So just so that you're aware of that. So that's what's happened. Drivers there that have been disqualified, as you will see. One of them is Stoner, as we have him there. There you see. And I can't quite remember what the other one is. I believe it's Gamble. Not too sure though. But we'll check that in a little bit. So we're under Q3. We have got about a quarter of an hour or so to go. But what we're going to quickly do is, once we get this, is jump to Q2, because we've only got 17 drivers rather than the full 20 this evening. As I say, we do have a few drivers missing. Unfortunately, we won't have Bo from Ferrari with us this evening. We also won't have Mykeb with Mercedes, and we also won't McLaren. So we are short. So McLaren, Mercedes and Ferrari will be short 1 driver apiece, so there'll only be 1 driver from those teams. So here we are, Canada GP. This is the 6th race of the season 3 2017 F1 tonight. I hope you're going to enjoy it. I'm sure you will. Should be seeing, all things being equal. So these guys are just getting themselves sorted out. As I say, they've got a few issues that they need to correct. And Gamble, yep, Gamble has also been disqualified from the session. So we're now seeing some of the other drivers coming out. So they'll be setting their Q3 times. And what we're going to be looking at here is going straight to Q2 with the 15, because obviously there are only 17 drivers. So we're going to be going to Q2 relatively soon, I would have thought, so that we can then decide from Q2. Because normally what would happen, obviously, is you'd go from Q1 with your full 20 drivers down to Q2 with your 15 drivers, and then Q1 with the final 10. In this instance, as we've only got the 15 drivers, then what we'll be doing is going straight to Q2. So just running in with Anganiki at the moment. Anganiki isn't the driver that we tend to catch up too much. Unfortunately, he tends to be generally towards the back of the pack, not for any fault of his own. He's obviously a relatively new driver, so that can't be fitted. So as he's coming through the back chicane there. So everyone's pretty much put ultra softs on by the looks of it. We've got a couple that have got super softs. Okay. So So we've got a few. I think they're just probably going out more just to get a feel for the track before they actually go into Q2. Obviously, we'd normally with Q1 running to its full extent. Excuse me. A bit more time to maybe get some wear in on some tyres they might want to do, or at the very least, certainly get an idea of how the running is on the track itself. So running on board with Peter F1 for Williams. So it gives us a great opportunity to see the Williams out there at the moment. So we haven't seen any specific time set as yet. So everyone at the moment, I think really they're just getting an idea for the actual track itself. And not an awful lot happening. Got quite a few drivers that have already jumped out. I'm just waiting to see what happens. Just waiting for these guys to get themselves sorted out. So as I say, we should be going to Q2. Q2. As we go into Q2, what I'm going to do is quickly run the drivers for this evening. So we have Zwift for Red Bull, Bass for Ferrari, Boyke for Sauber, Angernicki for Force India, Slim Shamey for Williams, Peter F1 for Williams, John F1 for Haas, Miguel for Toro Rosso, Buddha for Renault, Slacky for Renault, Force India, Elfrin, Grimm for Red Bull Racing, Martin BMW for Toro Rosso, Portmer for Mercedes, and Phenomenon for Sauber. And then we have Stoner for Haas and Gamble for McLaren. Q2 will be to go from the 15 down to the last 10, and that will be Q2. And then Q3 we're going to run through with our last 10 to decide the top 10 grid positions for those drivers. So that's where we're at the moment. So we're now starting with Q2. And we've got the drivers now getting ready. So they probably would already have had their setups. So they're just getting an idea of how they're actually going to be looking to run for this evening. Who's going to actually go out first is always a popular one. So yeah, we've really got a few drivers on their out lap. So let's join one of them. Let's go with Boyke in the Sauber. Don't very often ride with Boyke. He's relatively new to F1 tonight. The top 5 or top 6, but generally does pretty well when he's in the races. Good solid driver. His teammate Phenomenon certainly put up a good show last week at Monaco. One of the toughest probably tracks to race in throughout the season. So Sauber aren't doing too bad. They've certainly picked up a few points as it stands at this moment in time. So they got 6 points, which is from Phenomenon last week actually. So hopefully they'll be looking to build on that for the Canada GP. As I say, we do have a few of the main racers, Ferrari driver short, McLaren a driver short, and Mercedes also a driver short. So it certainly opens up the field and gives an opportunity to some of the other drivers to jump in there. So it should be quite interesting from that perspective and from that point of view. So nobody has yet a set, although, hang on, I think we've got Bass on an out lap, although it doesn't look as if he's actually going top speed there at this moment in time. In fact, he definitely isn't. Oh, right, okay, fantastic. So we've got Slim that has now set a time of a 2505, and then we've got Grim just beat that with a 112.505. So we've already got a couple of drivers set in there. So that's Grim for Red Bull and Slim there for Williams. We've had Slacky 112.6 for Renault, John F1 for Haas with a 113.4, Elfrans for Force India, one of 113.9, and Boyke, who we saw there earlier for Sauber, with 114.5. Miguel F1, he's just put in a time of 115. Miguel did very well last week with Toro Rosso as well. He was a bit unfortunate. Still got Zwoof in the pits. So we've got certainly R9 at the moment. We're still waiting for the other drivers to come out and set their times. Let me just quickly check what we've actually got here. Okay, so we'll go with tyres currently fitted. So Grim with a 112.2s on the ultra softs. We've got Bass on the softs with a 113.4. That's for Ferrari. And then we've got Martin for Toro Rosso and Boyke also on super softs for Toro Rosso, as I said, and Sauber respectively. They're on 114.2. So yeah, we could see Bass maybe come in and look at the possibility of changing tyres there. As I say, he is on softs at the moment. We are running with him now on a fast lap, just to see what he can actually pull together on these softs. I mean, ideally, if you can get into the 113 bracket, I'm sure you'll be very happy with that. Ultimately, at the end of the day, generally what we tend to see is, or certainly from what I've seen previously, is that we tend to see the sort of qualifying times for Q3 pretty much coming out in Q2. So we've got a 112.2. I know that some of the guys have obviously gone sub that on practice. So every possibility we might see a faster lap, maybe down to high 111s, but we're certainly going to be looking, I would think, at a qualifying for pole to be round about the 112 mark or slightly under. Last week, in fact, we actually saw a faster time set in Q2 than we did in Q3, interestingly enough. So no, I think Bass has pretty much backed off on that one. What I'm going to do then is I'm just going to run through the drivers as they're out. so you get an idea of who they are. So here we have Slacky. He's in the Renault. Slacky's put in some pretty hard races. He's had a few unfortunate incidents, but certainly a good solid driver, and he's looking to move up the rankings and certainly up in the competition. So he's certainly keen and eager to do so. So that's Slacky there for the Renault. He set the second fastest time at the moment with 112.332. We then have Buddha, his teammate for Renault, also quite an aggressive driver, as they all are, to be fair. And he's certainly going to be looking to improve his position. He's obviously had a fantastic start to the season, actually won the Season 3 opener in Australia, so very happy with that. Then we have Anga Nicky. He's driving... Sorry, he's driving for Force India there. So he's got a 113.5, so he's got a nice time as well. Then we have Bass, as I said, for Ferrari. He's on a 113.1. Obviously, he's on the softs. Then we've got Slim Shamey there for Haas. Elfrans. Where am I? Elfrans there, who's in the second Force India. He's just coming into the pits now. Then we have Phenomenon in the Sauber. As I say, put up a great show last week. Got 6 points for Sauber. So they're only points so far this season, so I'm sure he's been looking to build on that. Then we have Martin in the Toro Rosso, Boyke in the second Sauber. Then we have Miguel in the second Toro Rosso. Then we have Zwoof in the Red Bull. He's currently on his outlap, so he hasn't actually set to time as yet. So let's ride with Zwoof as he looks to set a time. Looks to me as if he might well be on his qualifying lap here, but we will soon know as he comes round the bends there. Coming around that before coming onto the straight, that's the last, well, effectively that's the only hard turn that we have. They're coming down the back straight now. They will have DRS during the race, coming through the chicane there, into the start-finish straight before they get to corner 1. So no, that wasn't Swift's qualifying lap there, so looks like he'll be going out. Hasn't set a time, so I would suspect that he probably was a qualifying lap, but he probably exceeded track limits or came into track somewhere, so the time unfortunately doesn't count. So he'll certainly be looking to go out again with that. Let's ride with one of the other drivers. So let's ride with Phenomena. As I say, he racing for Sauber this. He is his first season with F1 tonight, and he is, I think, in my opinion, doing pretty well, considering obviously that he hasn't raced with F1 tonight before. Certainly put up a good show, as I said last week when we were looking at Monaco. So nice to see somebody a bit different up there as well, and one of the new drivers. So he's just coming into the pits now. We go with Slim. He's out on the Williams at this moment in time. Trying to do several dozen things here at the same time, and it never works. Okay, so Grimm is pretty much holding on to that time. As I say, not a great shot there. Ultimately, it's about the top 10. So at the moment, we had a little bit of moving around. Martin's in for dropping out of into Q3. So what we're looking at is our top 10. So everything from 11 to 15. That will be effectively their grid position, and they will drop out when we go to Q3. So at this moment in time, we've got Martin BMW from Toro Rosso, Peter F1 from Williams, Miguel F1 from Toro Rosso, Zwoof, who hasn't actually set a time as yet, for Red Bull, and Portma for Mercedes, who also hasn't set a time as yet. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with regards. So we've got Slim's riding out there at the moment. Slim's on a 113. He's safe in 7th place. Really what we're looking at is the guys from 11th on are on the 114s. So those are the times they need to improve on. So we're out with Peter F1. Let's see if he's actually going to improve on that 114.4. No, he's not on his flying lap. What about Miguel? Okay. This comes around the back hairpin there. Miguel's now approaching the DRS zone. There we go. DRS on. You can see the back wing open there. So Miguel needs to really improve his time quite considerably. He wants to knock off at least 1.2, 1.3 seconds really to be in with a shout. Let's see how he does. Okay, he's knocked off 500ths of a second, so he's on 115.2. He's gone down to 114.7. He really needs to knock off about another second there if he can. That would then push Elfrans in the Force India into 11th place. So that's really what these guys are going to be need to be aiming for, is the sub 114s. So here we have Peter F1 coming around to the start finish straight again. It's 114.1, remember. Oh, sorry, 114.4. He hasn't bettered. Oh, hang on, here he comes now. Slightly improved his time, but only by 200ths of a second. Still leaves him in the drop zone. So we still have the same drivers in the drop zone. That's Martin BMW in for Toro Rosso, Peter F1 for Williams, Miguel F1 for Toro Rosso, Zwoof for Red Bull, and Portman for Mercedes. So these guys all still in the drop zone as it stands at this moment in time. Grim F1 still holding the this Q best time, so Q2's best time. Let's go see if we've got one of the other drivers there. It's Miguel in the second Toro Rosso. Let's see how he's doing. Okay, so they're coming round now. So still got Elfrans has dropped down now, because John did actually get into the 113. I do apologise, it's me messing around with paperwork and I can't see that that's happened. So John F1, was it John F1 or no, it's Peter F1 that I was looking at. So who actually put in the faster time? Must be Nanga Nikki. Well, whichever it was, they've pushed Elfrans into 11th place now. So Elfrans now on the drop zone for Force India. Then we have Peter F1 for Williams, the two Toro Rossos, and Paul. It must have been Zwoof. Sorry, I do apologise. Zwoof, obviously. Zwoof took 3rd place with a 112.383. So Zwoof finally set a time, and that's the time that he set. That's then pushed everyone back down one, which is obviously then has caused Elfran to go into the drop. Also Boyke now, so Zwoof moved up there. Who else has moved up? Martin set a 113.353 for Toro Rosso, so that's now pushed Boyke into the drop zone. So this is it now. They've only got 2 minutes remaining. Most of the drivers are out, so great job there from Martin. Assures him at least 9th place as it stands at this moment in time. The only thing he's got to worry about is obviously either Peter or his teammate Miguel put in a faster time. So we're actually running with Miguel at this moment in time as he comes down the last straight. He's got the DRS open, coming up to the chicane. So let's see how he does. So he stays in 14th place, unfortunately, so a bit of a shame there. I'm sure he's going to be a little bit disappointed with that. But still, you know, that's life. That's the way it goes. You'll have plenty of opportunities, I'm sure, in the race to obviously exceed that and do better. So as it stands at this moment in time, let's quickly run through this. So we have Grim, who set the fastest time of a 1:12.299. He's for Red Bull. Then we have Slacky Woof for Red Bull, 1:12.383. Anganiki for Force India, 1:12.645. Then we have John F1. Where am I? Sorry, John F1 for Haas. He's so far 2. 6 is Buddha, 1:12.976 for Red Bull. For Renault. Then we have Bass F1 for Ferrari, 1:13.1. Phenomenon is in 8th, 1:13.1. Slim Shady for Williams, 1:13.2. Martin BMW in 10th. Fantastic job there. Boyke for Sauber, 1:13.7. Elfred for Force India, 1:13.8. Peter F1 for Williams with a 1:13.8 in 13th. Miguel for Toro Rosso in 14th, 1:14.7. And Portma will be in 15th place. He didn't actually go out and set a time. So we're going to be moving across now to Q3. And this is obviously where we then decide the top 10 grid positions for this race today. So we're just waiting for Q2 to finish, and then we'll run. So here we are now. We're just going to be starting Q3. So quickly run through the times here. So we've got Red Bull Racing, Grim first, Slacky seconds, Woof third, Anganiki, John F1, Buddha, Bass, Phenomenon, Slim Shamy, Martin, Boyke, Elfren, Peter, Miguel F1 and Portma. So these are all the drivers. These are the times that they set in Q2. We've dropped Boyke for Sauber, Force India, Elfren, Williams, Peter F1, Miguel Toro Rosso and Portma from Mercedes. And we're now going to be going into Q3 to decide the top 10 drivers and grid positions for this F1 Tonight 2017 Season 3 Race 6. It's Canada. Not dry, I may add. So everyone's getting ready now. So who's that we've got going out? Let's have a quick look. Pretty sure it was Zwoof on this one. So he's coming to the turns 1, 2 and 3. This is a very fast track, not too dissimilar from Australia, from our opening track. So wouldn't be surprised to see Renaults there. Certainly looking to put a show in at least. See what he can do. He's coming round the back chicane now. Should be looking to set a fast time. Everyone's running with the ultra softs at this moment in time. Coming down the back straight, last DRS point. Oh, sorry, the first DRS point. Second DRS point as they come through the chicane here onto the start-finish straight. And he set a 1:13.1, so not the fastest time. We know earlier on we did see the fastest time set in Q2. Are we going to see the same this evening? I'm not too sure. That obviously we've got to bear in mind we did have a 1:12, and there we have. Slacky's already beaten that, as has Bass and Anganiki. So there we have Slacky with a 1:12.694. So he's taken provisional first place at this moment in time. Then we have Bass in the Ferrari, 1:12.9. Anganiki with a 1:12.9. Good show there from Force India. Buddha with a 1:13.0. Martin with a 1:13.1, as I said. Slim Shomi 1:13.8, and John Verhaas with a 1:15.9. John really needs to improve on that time. Okay, so Slacky at this moment in time for Renault has set the 1:12.6, as I said. You know, not too dissimilar from Australia, and we did see that they had a fantastic race in Australia last week. So. We would expect them to certainly set a nice fast time this time as well. So Bass has actually now taken that position back. So he's Bass has set a 1:11.7. Now I did say earlier that I was hoping to see in the high 1:11s, and we might well see that. We did see obviously Bass running earlier on the softs, so he's now gone on to the ultra soft, so that clearly has made a difference for him, and he's certainly laid down the mark there with that 1:11. I think that's I would like to say it's going to assure him the first place, but I can't be certain that it actually has, to be honest with you. So here we are. At the moment, this is the way it's been shaping up. So there we have Bass for Ferrari, has got provisional pole position. Then we have Slacky with provisional second place. John F1 in the Haas, provisional third. Martin, great show from Toro Rosso there, provisional fourth. Anganiki, great show from Force India, provisional fifth. Shamey is provisional seventh. Zwoof 8, 9 and 10. Now these drivers still have not set a time, so Zwoof, Grim and Phenomena all need to set times as it stands at this moment in time. We've only got about 6 minutes left with regards to this. So let's see what they can do. So let's have a look if these guys are actually out. Well, Zwoof is out now, so let's stay with Zwoof, see how he does. Very fast track, very hard braking corners, so we're coming down to the hard right now, and through the chicane left. They'll wind round to the left, then go to the right. So we've got the hard hairpin now as they're approaching the back straight. So this is your first DRS point here. So wing fast open. You then go through the chicane, turns 12 and 13 into the start finish straight where you hit the second DRS point. That takes you over the start finish line. And there we have it. So as we've still not set a time, as I say again, you may have exceeded the track limits, not really too sure what's happened there. But we certainly should see him set a time fairly soon. So everything's pretty much as it has been. Let's quickly run through this now. So we still have Bass with that 111.7 in first place. Slacky still provisional second, order 112. John in the Haas with a provisional third, 112.3. So only 10 hundredths of a second between those two. 500 second to then Martin, or fifth of a second rather. So Martin, then we have Anganiki, Buddha in sixth, Slim Shamy provisional seventh. Still waiting for Zwoof. Grim hasn't come out, Phenomenon hasn't come out, so I'm not too sure what's happened with those guys. So as we're watching Zwoof now coming round. Tricky little chicane there. This turns 4, 5, it's kind of 6. Turns 7, 8 there. Coming down the sort of short little back straight to turn 9, 10. Tricky little turn there. He comes down now to turn 11, which is the hairpin turn. Then you've got the tricky little chicane through 12 and 13. It's the coming up to turns 14, 15, the chicane there. Oh, he's gone straight into the pits. So Zwoof set a time of 112.6. Don't know what the delay was there. So that puts him into provisional grid 5. So we've had a little move around. So we've got Bass still in first place, Slacky provisional second, John in the Haas provisional third, Buddha is now provisional fourth with 112.4, so he's improved 500ths of a second on that, put him up to fourth place. He was in ninth. Then we have Zwoof for Red Bull, 112.6. Then Martin is in sixth place for Toro Rosso, 112.8. He's still out there, so he's going to be looking to improve in that time. Nicky Force India's moved down to seventh place, so 112.9. Slim still in eighth, and we're waiting for Grim and Phenomenon to set time relatively soon. Okay, not too sure what's up with that. So there we have it. That's our Q3, so we'll run through those in just 1 second. Once they actually come up. Okay, so let's run through our top 10 as they stand at this moment in time. So this is grids 1 to 10 for pole. So we have Bass Ferrari pole position with a 111.5. Then we have Slacky for Renault, 112.2 for second place. Third is Haas, John F1, 112.3. Buddha is in fourth, 112.4 for Renault. Zwoof for Red Bull, 112.6 is in fifth. Sixth is Mike for Toro Rosso, great show from him, 112.8. Anganick for Force India, good show from him, 112.9. Slim Shamy for Williams, 113. And Grim and Phenom didn't set times, and they are 9th and 10th place respectively. So here we go. We're looking now to do the initial. So everyone getting ready now. Start the race, 25 seconds. And we're going to be looking to get the race underway in a few seconds' time. So there we have our runners and riders. Bass is in first place there as he starts the processional lap as they go round, getting the cars, tyres warmed up for the start of this F1 2017. Season 3, Race 6, F1 Esports, or E-Series if you like, Canada GP. Slacky for Renault is in second. John for Haas is in third. Buddha for Renault is in fourth. Zwoof for Red Bull is in fifth. Martin for BMW for Toro Rosso is in sixth. Anganicky for Force India is in seventh. Slim Shamy in eighth for Williams. Then we have Grim for Red Bull, second driver, in ninth. Phenomenon for Sauber in 10th. Boyke for Sauber, his teammate, is in 11th. Elfren for Force India is in 12th. Peter F1 for Williams is in 13th. Miguel F1 is in 14th place. Then we have Portma for Mercedes is in 15th. Stoner for Haas is in 16th. He's got that in 16th place. And Gamble for McLaren is in 17th place, also due to a penalty incurred at Monaco. So those are our runners and riders. We'll go now with our grid position driver, or first row. So here we go now to the start, and the lights are out and they're off. So as we come up to the chicane here of turns 1 and then 2, so that's Ferrari through, Slacky for the Red Bulls behind him. Oh, somebody's gone into the back of the Haas there. I think that was Zwoof going into the back of John's Haas there, so he would have damaged his front wing. And we've really got Slim Shamy moving up through the grid and the Williams. So Ferrari's already starting to pull out, so Bass already starting to pull out over a half-second gap as they're coming round the back corners here. So they're coming through turns 5, 4, 6, Happy to turn 7 and 8. Going round that hairpin there, turns 11, through the little chicane of turns 12 and 13, into the back straight. Obviously they haven't got DRS enabled as yet. That won't become enabled until they've gone into lap 3. So effectively that'll be on lap 4 they'll be looking to go there. As I thought, Zwoofer's gone into the pits because he had front wing damage, so that's now released Buddha into 4th place. So interestingly enough, I didn't look at this at the beginning, really should have done so. Bass has actually gone in for the soft, so he's got a heavy fuel load, so he knows that the times aren't going to be fast. Equally, he did have pole position, so that's probably a good shout there, because that gives him a great opportunity to get a good first stint under his belt and get higher up in the actual laps to hopefully open up. So I think what he's going to be looking to do is stay ahead, look to open up as big a gap as he can, obviously, to whoever may be in 2nd place. This moment, Slacky from Renault, which hopefully should give him the opportunity to pit. Well, last week we saw his teammate, I believe it was Bo, go up to lap 40. Or it may have been Bass, unfortunately, I can't remember, shocking memory. But he went up to lap 40 with the Super Softs, albeit it was obviously Monaco, but they still do have quite a bit of tyre wear. So, you know, we could be seeing him maybe going to 30. Phenomenal's left the session. Not too sure what's happened there. Don't know if he's dropped out or whether. So that's rather unfortunate there if that was the case for Norman. So apologies if I missed that. So at this moment in time, we've got Bass still is in 1st place. We're coming up to lap 3, or we are in lap 3. So we will see DRS enabled. So let's see what happens here. It looks like we've got a fight possibly between Slim Shamy and Anganiki and Buddha there. So let me just see as they come through now. Turn 7 and 8. Was it 9 and 10? I'm terrible on this map. Yeah, it was 9 and 10, so they're coming up to turn 11 now. It's a little chicane here of 12 and 13. Now Slacky will have... Oh no, Slacky won't have DRS. Slim Shamy will have DRS on the Force India, as he sees opened up there. So he's moving up. So we've got a bit of a fight going on here between 4th, 5th and 6th. Slim Shamy is currently in 6th position. And now into the 2nd DRS zone. Bass just set the fastest lap time of 1:16.5. So Slim is really up the gearbox here of Anganiki. It is giving Buddha a slight chance to pull away, but saying that, Anganiki's still staying under a second behind him. We move down, we've also got Grimm putting up a fight there with Toro Rosso, Martin, and Gamble moving up on him as well. Now we've seen Gamble already move up here, so fantastic move there from Gamble and from Portmer. So both, sorry, not Portmer, what am I saying? Yeah, Gamble in the McLaren has certainly done very well. So he's moved up from, I believe it was 16th up to 9th place. Then we have Portman in 10th, Boyke, Miguel, Peter F1, Elfren. Stoner is still in 15th. So Stoner hasn't quite got the feel for it now. So he's dropped back behind Elfren's. Let's get back with Gamble there. So Gamble's already moved up 7 places within the first 4 laps. So he's going to be looking to put a step down. He's got Ultra Softs running at this moment in time. Then we have Grimm closing on the back of that Toro Rosso there of Martin. See, so Buddha has actually overtaken. I missed that, unfortunately. Oh, hang on, we've got a bit of a fight here. Oh yes, Anganiki coming back. So Buddha obviously overtook Anganiki there. Anganiki coming back into turns 1 and 2. Unfortunately, didn't make it stick. So as I said, this should be a good track for Renault. They did well in Australia, so I'd expect them to do reasonably well here as well. Slim Shamy there is in 6th. So So Slim is still pressing on Anganiki. And then he's trying to block him there. Buddha is now opening up that gap to Anganiki. There's still only a second gap between Slacky as well. So everyone's pretty much settling down now. So the real fight that we're seeing at this moment in time is with Williams against Force India, Slim against Anga for 5th position. And then we've also got Elfren there. Oh, yes. Elfren's overtaking Stoner. Not too sure what happened there, whether there was a corner to cut or not. Let's go with Stoner. So Anganiki, he's actually received a 3-second time penalty already for exceeding track limits. We do work with strict track limits. So obviously some change arounds happening here. Stoner's going to really be looking to move up. He wants to overtake this Force India if he possibly can. This is interesting. He's in the DRS zone now as they're coming down the back straight. Brim has now received a 3-second penalty again for exceeding track limits. As they're coming up to turn 14 and 15, through 14 and 15. DRS open again. Coming up to turns 1, 2 and 3. And unfortunately Stoner just doesn't seem to have the legs at this moment in time to overtake that Force India. He's going for it though. He's coming up to turns 4 and 5. Through turns 4 and 5. Round to 6. Coming up to the left, right, 7 and 8 now. He's still not quite closing in. He's trying to move on to the outside now. As they're coming to turns 9, 10. He's really trying to get position as he possibly can. And really applying pressure there to that Force India. So much so that Elfrens is starting to get a little bit twitchy. So they're coming up to turn 11 now. This is the hairpin. Come down the back straight. Through turns, quick little chicane 12 and 13. Elfren constantly shutting the door there. But it's only, I think, a question of time before Stoner overtakes him. He's got his DRS enabled. Approaching turns 14 and 15. Through the little chicane there. Second DRS point. Coming up to the start-finish straight. Through to turns 1. And then the left-right of 2 and 3. They approach turns 4, 5 now, and you know Stoner is really trying to put the pressure on here on Elfren, but fair play to Elfren, he's holding him off and at times actually pulling away as well. So let's move up now. So we've actually had, while I've been unfortunately talking and watching that race, I've missed Bass being overtaken by Slacky. So Slacky's on the ultra softs, so he does have that advantage there, but Bass is still applying pressure on him. So Slacky has taken first place from Bass. As I said, there was about a second gap between them, so clearly he closed down on that. We've still got Haas in 3rd place, and Slacky's teammate Buddha is in 4th. So let's stick with these guys, because I shouldn't think Bass is going to leave it there. I would expect him to be looking to move up on Slacky as soon as he's able to. Down the back here. Slim Shamy looks like he's got a penalty. Oh, Slim Shamy's actually crashed out. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, Slim Shamy's crashed out. Oh no, what a shame. So that's Williams out. That only leaves Peter F1 in. Not too sure what that was. I think that might be turn 7 and 8. Yeah, I think that's turn 7, 8. Bass has received a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. So everyone's going round Slim there at this moment in time. Not too sure if we've got virtual safety car on or not. Just riding in here with Slacky at the moment. just enabling some of the telemetry here just to see how he is. Still looking green there. Not too sure if we're running with virtual safety car or not. No, we're not. So we are not running with any safety car at this moment in time. So there's Bass as they're coming down to turns 14 and 15. Bass does have DRS. So through turns 14 and 15. Slim shame he's actually left, unfortunately. He's DNF on that one, so same as Woof. So we are now down to 14 drivers. So Bass is still certainly staying within there, certainly looking to push. Still 1 second gap, 1.5 seconds, so he's trying to close it up if he can. Everyone else is pretty much settled out. Let's go with Gamble, because Gamble is definitely moved up now, so he's moved up to 7th place. He's now looking at the gearbox of Grim. He's only half a second behind him, so it could well be that he might be looking to pull this one out of the bag and see if he can overtake Grim. He's certainly making the move on him as they're coming through. Oh, doesn't make stick, and he's going in. Oh, that was so close. Nearly stuck it in the barriers there, but he's certainly pushing. You've got to give it to Gamble. He's definitely pushing. Turn 1. Is he going to take him turn 1? And he has. Fantastic move. Turn 2 there, makes it stick. Great move there by Gamble. Really, really is moving up this field here. You know, you've got to bear in mind he's started in 15th. Anganicky just received a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. So Gamble's really tearing through this field. Now, he is obviously going to be putting a lot of wear on those super softs. He's just run off the track. Stone's just set the fastest time. One, quite see it. I think I may have won on 1:16. Let's have a quick look, see if we can actually establish what that was. Yeah, 1:16.544. So Slacky's now set the fastest time in the lead there. So he's technically opening up that gap to Bass. As I say, he is on the ultra softs. Bass is on the soft, so he's going to be looking to go for a longer stint. So I think he's pretty much happy. Well, not happy. He's 2 seconds behind Slacky at this moment in time. But maybe to just sort of sit there at this moment. So Gamble's now starting to move up on the Force India of Anganicky. He's still got Grim behind him. There's only about half a second gap between those two drivers. I shouldn't think Grim's very happy about being overtaken. Let's face it, who is? So we'll sit here with Gamble, because at the moment he's certainly putting in an interesting race for us. As they're coming through the chicane there, I think it was 9:10. And he's really starting to move up on this Force India now. This is turns 9 and 10 now. Approaching turn 11, which is the pits hairpin. So he's going on the right hand side. He was looking to cut in, and he's done it. Fantastic move there. Is he going to make it stick? He's got to get his speed down as he comes into turn 12 and 13, and he has. Great job there. Fantastic job. So took the right hand side of the track as they came down to the pit hairpin. Cut in nice and hard on the right hand side as they're going round to the hairpin. And put the power down as they're coming into turns 12 and 13. Made it stick and overtook Anganicky. So Gamble's now moved up into 5th position. So next on his radar will be the Renault Buddha, who we've just seen going round turn 2 there. So he's going to start to be moving up on him, and he is really setting a pace. I'm surprised he actually hasn't set the fast lap, but then again, he hasn't been going through the traffic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Portmer in now. What happened to... So I'm just going to get Portmer in to see what happened there with regards to his situation. Portmer. Hello, Portmer. Portmer. Oh, this moment. Sorry, Portmer. There, Portmer. Sorry, mate. Had you muted there for a minute. So, what happened? Sorry, mate, you're going to need to speak up a bit because I'm not quite hearing you. Yeah, so what was that? Turn 7 and 8, wasn't it? I think you went out. As we just see the guys coming around there now. Yeah, it's a tricky turn because you've got that hard right into that hard left, and if you overcook it on turn 7, you certainly lose it into the barriers of turn 8. Now we're just watching Gamble at this moment in time. Gamble's really steaming through the field here. Started in 16th place, now moved up to 5th place. Really showing... Yeah, it's a great shame to see you go out. So no points for Team Mercedes this week. Well, it's certainly going to open things up because obviously it's not great. I mean, obviously it's going to jeopardise things. Ferrari obviously only running with Bass this evening, so they're pretty convincingly in the lead this home time, so I'd expect them to hold first place. But it does open up the field for Renault, because Renault currently on 54 points, and at this moment in time we can see that obviously they're moving up the field, and we've had Stoner has pitted. Well, we'll see what happens. We've already had some pits come in. So we've had Slacky checking in from 1st to 7th place. We've also had Martin for Toro Rosso pit. Stoner has pitted as well for Haas, and Elfren for Force India, and Peter F1 for Williams. That obviously did release Bass then to move up and reassume 1st place. So Bass is now... Yeah, well, Bass did go out with the soft tyres, so I'd be expecting him to certainly go into the high 20s, if not 30s, with those tyres. And he didn't seem too preoccupied when Slacky overtook him. Initially, obviously, he tried to take the place back, but he seemed to hang back and was quite happy with that. He's not too bothered at this moment in time. He's got almost a 3.5 second gap on 2nd place John in the Haas. So we've got a fight going on here. Wang and Nicky moving in on the Red Bull of Zwoof. Sorry, Wang and Nicky moving on the Red Bull of Grim, I do apologise. Slacky is just behind them, so these three guys obviously going to be looking to make some moves fairly soon. I would expect Slacky to certainly make the move on Ang and Nicky within the next couple of laps. So, okay, so we actually see Grim go into the pits. That's released Angernicky to 4th place. Slacky now up to 5th place. And obviously the Renault there really homing in on the gearbox of the Force India. They're coming out of turns 2, 3, coming up to turns 4, 5, through turns 4 and 5. Come to that right 6. Then that tricky one though, we lost it, turn 7. You've only got to hit that curb just wrong, and then there you hit the curb wrong, and that's it. You're off. So turn 8. Oh dear. So Angernicky trying to defend his position there, but almost going into the barrier. And Slacky's made the move on him. So Slacky has now taken position just before they go through turns 9 and 10. The little chicane there, as they're approaching the pits hairpin, turn 11. So Slacky's certainly got the power under that bonnet to be moving away from Angernicky. So Slacky's now moved up into 4th place. He's gone back onto the Ultra Softs. Interesting choice. Obviously he only took 15 laps, so if he sticks with this, we're going to be looking at lap 30 for him to pit again. So whether he's looking to try and set a fast time, yeah, he could well be going onto the super softs. I don't know if he'll go onto the soft option or not. Obviously, so we've got Bass running in first places on the softs. So everything's pretty much evened out. We've got Martin in the Toro Rosso, homing in on Boyke in the Sauber. He's also got Stoner very close in behind him. So this is for 8th and 9th place there. So there we are with Martin. Oh, and it looks like Stoner's going to be looking to make a move on the Toro Rosso there. Oh dear, are they hitting tyres there? I'm not too sure whether they did or not. Elfram's just incurred a 3-second time penalty, so that's exceeding track limits. So Stoner's certainly applying the pressure there to Martin, but Martin's looking to home in on the back of that Sauber. Has given, I think, Boyke a little bit of a rest bite there. But there we see Toro Rosso coming down, and they come through turns 9 and 10. Oh, has Boyke moved right over there? No, he hasn't. So they're coming now to the pit hairpin. Yeah, Boyke did go off. Boyke went off. So let's just go there. Unfortunately, Boyke went off as they went through turn 10. I thought I saw him lose it there. So that's DNF for Boyke, unfortunately. He was looking to Stoner, or against Miguel rather, sorry. Against Martin, I do apologise, I keep getting these mixed up. So he was looking to defend against Martin, went into the wall there. We've now got Stoner really laying the pressure on as they come into turns 1 and 2. So Stoner determined to move up the field. He's seen that Gamble's done the same. He's pretty much only one place behind him, so those guys have really done very well. Started in 17th and 16th respectively. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We're still only in lap 20. We've got 70 laps, 50 laps to go, so we're only really about a third of the way through the race as it stands at this moment in time. So that gap for first to second place has really opened up now. So we've got a 7.5 second gap now between Bass and John in the Haas. So Stoner is really looking to try and get past this Toro Rosso, but I'll be honest with you, Martin's a good driver. He's pretty solid. Generally always goes to the end of the race. Certainly so you heard it there, he was teammate with Stoner, so he knows his style of driving. So I'm sure he's going to be able to hold him off. And that Toro Rosso, obviously with the Ferrari engine, it certainly has the power to hold them off. Everyone else is pretty much settled. I'm just going to quick with regards to the pits and see how many pits we've done. So stops, here we go. Everyone's stopped. So Martin's already stopped. The only three that haven't stopped is Angernicky in the Force India, who's currently in 3rd place. Bass and Miguel. So that's quite interesting. Bass is obviously on the softs, as we say. Anger Nicky's on the super softs, so he's looking to go for a longer stint. And Miguel is on the ultra softs. So Miguel has actually had these ultra softs running for 21 laps. So I would think he's going to be having to pit fairly soon. The ones we need to watch really is Bass. Difficult to call. So obviously you saw some of the people who started coming on the ultra softs on lap 15. He is on the softs. What do you expect? I mean, I'm thinking he's probably going to go to lap 30 to 35 on those softs. I think there's certainly a good possibility of that. Slacky, as we know, obviously was in first, went pitted, went back onto the ultra softs, came out in 7th. He's now moved up into 2nd place as John has gone into the pits as well, and John has fitted the super softs. Anger Nicky is still there in 3rd place, but he hasn't actually pitted as yet. 15, which means that if he sticks to that theory and that wear, he could be looking to come in on lap 30. So he's not really going to be looking to put any pressure on Bass as it stands at this moment in time. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Let's have a quick look here at John in the Haas. He's starting to close down now on Anger Nicky. Now, as I say, Anger Nicky is in 3rd place, but he hasn't pitted as yet. And we can see the Haas does seem to have superior power on here. But so let's see what happens. Coming to laps turn 6, coming up to turn 7 and 8. As he approaches tap now, you can see that Anger Nicky's trying to close the door on him as they're coming up now to turns 9 and 10. So is John going to be looking to go the same move? Oh, he's cutting the grass there as they're coming up. You know, he's got DRS. So first DRS point as they come out of the turns there, approaching turn 14, 15 chicane. He's going right over to the left-hand side of the track here, so is he going to be looking to cut in? Come through the turns 14, 15, second DRS point then as they approach down the start-finish straight into turn 1. And he's looking to try and get a little leg in there. Look at him there, he's trying to get a little sneak in there, but unfortunately there just isn't enough space. No, Anger Nicky's pretty much closing the door on him as they're coming up to the turn, so he pretty much knows where he's going to be expecting him to come through and give us. And John's trying to move across to the dirty side of the track there, and he's done it, he's made it stick. Fantastic move there. So as they're approaching turn 7 and 8, he's made the move, went on the dirty side of the track and overtook. As I said, I did think that Haas did have superior power to the Force India. So they're coming through turns 9 and 10 now, coming down to the pit hairpin. So, yeah, I thought so. Anger Nicky's obviously got DRS on him, but it's not going to make too much of a difference. I don't really think that Force India has got the power to move up and overtake that Haas. So the way it's shaping up at this moment in time, lap 24. So we're just over a third of the way through the race. We've got Bass in the Ferrari, is in the lead. He's running on the soft tyres, hasn't actually pitted yet. Gamble's just set the fastest lap time of 1:14.9. I'm not particularly surprised by that. He has really been moving up the field. He's got a little bit stuck in 6th place at this moment in time. So here we have Bass in 1st place. Slacky in the Renault is currently in 2nd place. He's on the ultra softs. Could well be looking to pit round about lap 30. Bass might well be looking to do the same because he's running on the softs. We've got John in the Haas on the super softs. He's already pitted. He's in 3rd place. He's just overtaken Anger Nicky in the Force India, who's in 4th. Then we have Buddha in the Renault in 5th. He's currently running on ultra softs as well. and he's got Gamble closing in behind him. So Gamble's already been moving up the field. He's moved, already gone up 10 positions. Okay, that is obviously including DNFs, but he's looking to make that move. He's within DRS point as they come down that back straight, approaching turns 14 and 15. He is right up the gearbox of that Renault there. Oh, he's moving over to the left-hand side, so he's looking to get maybe a turn in, try and get ahead of this Renault. Yes, is he going to do late braking? Is he coming down? Oh, lovely move, lovely move. So they come through the turns there, 14 and 15, makes it stick, second DRS point. Let's see if the Renault can actually close up that gap on that second DRS point now. It's coming to turn 1. But Gamble is really, really setting a blistering pace here. Come out of turn 3. He's already 1.5 seconds ahead of the Renault there. So, do you think he's going to be a contender for podium for tonight? So Anganicki's just received the 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. So that was a lovely move we've just seen there from Gamble through the chicane there of turns 14 and 15 on the Renault of Buddha there. So Gamble is now starting to line himself up for the Force India of Anganicki. So everyone's pitted. Stone has actually pitted twice. I think he had some damage. Bass is still the only one that hasn't pitted. So as I say, he was running on the soft, so he was certainly looking for a long stint for his first stint. So here we are. Buddha's looking to try and close in that gap on Gamble. Take his 5th position back. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but we'll see what happens. He's only 700ths of a second behind Gamble at this moment in time, so he's certainly laying it down. Ooh, turns 9, 10. Well, they're both running on ultra softs. They've both had 1 pit each, so could be anyone's. So we're on lap 27. Slacky is certainly starting to close in that gap now. It's down to 5 seconds on Bass. So let's just ride with Bass a minute, because I think we're going to be seeing the Ferrari pit very, very soon. Bass is just going through sector 2 now. Gamble's now starting to move. Let's go back to Gamble, because Gamble's now really closing up the gearbox of Anganicki and the Force India, and Buddha's very close in behind both of them there. So Gamble's already moved up 11 places. That does obviously include DNFs. Unfortunately, we've seen a few already this evening. Lap 27. Gap's opened up again to Slacky. 9 seconds to Slacky's second place to first place Bass there. Oh, is he looking to make a move? Oh, nearly. He's looking to make a move there on the pits hairpin. Coming into DRS now. Is he going to look to make the same sort of move? He's going to the right hand side. Is he looking to blindside him there, then suddenly move to the left? No, he's going down on the right hand side through the... Oh, I don't know if he cut that if all 4 wheels were over, but Gamble has now taken 4th place. Buddha's also taken Anganicki there, so he's moved up to 4th place. Gamble's moved up to 3rd place. And we've got a 3-second time penalty there for Anganicki, exceeding track limit. So unfortunately, I think Nicky was looking to defend there. Stones just set the fastest time of 1:14.6 in the Haas. So Stoner's looking to reply there. He's not really been able to move up the field as much as he'd like to, and certainly not as much as Gamble has. So there we have the Haas. He's 19 seconds behind our race leader now, and Bass has come in. So lap 28, Bass has come in. Let's see where he comes out. Let's stay with the Ferrari here of Bass. He's coming out. Toro Rosso's going past. Can't see the Haas as yet. Has he got enough of a gap? There's the Haas, yes. The Haas is coming up closely behind him now. He's got Williams there. Oh, would you believe it? I think John's going to be pretty upset with that. So Bass manages to pit and get out ahead of John in the Haas. He's still got a 3-second gap. Looks like he's got... who's that Williams in front of him? Is that Peter? Yeah, it is. So he's got... Bass has got the Williams of Peter just ahead of him, so he's going to be looking to try and overtake him as soon as he possibly can. And hopefully that should also hold up John a bit, although obviously he will be blue flagged. So Martin just received a 3-second time penalty for Toro Rosso. And there we see, yep, and Bass making that move now on Peter. So that pretty much releases him. So John now in the Haas, still maintaining second place. Gamble is in third place. Buddha is in fourth place for Renault. Then we have Slacky for Renault is now in fifth place. And Ganicki's dropped down to sixth place. Martin is in seventh for Toro Rosso. Stoner is currently held up in eighth for second driver of Haas. Grimm in the Red Bull is in ninth. Miguel in the second Toro Rosso is in 10th. Peter in the Williams is in 11th. And Elfren in the Force India is currently in 12th. So everyone pretty much settling down now. Let's have a look, see where we are. So everyone's pitted at least once. We saw Bass come in on lap 28 and he was on the softs. He's now gone on to the super softs. Obviously the fuel load is going to get lighter, so the wear should also start to improve on those tyres. Is he looking to take these super softs to the end of the race? He's got 40 laps to go. I don't think he will. But he certainly needs to open up that gap. Definitely needs to open up that gap. So everyone pretty much settled in now. So we've got Bass, who's our first place in the Ferrari. He's currently running on super softs. He pitted lap 28. Then we've got John F1 for the Haas. He's in second place. He's also on the super softs. Gamble, who's actually torn through this field, started in 16th place, has now moved up to third place in 30 laps. So fantastic job there from Gamble, and he really is tearing through this field. He's on the ultra softs in third place at this moment in time. Buddha for Renault is currently in fourth place, so he's got his teammate Slacky approaching him now in for fifth place. Oh, we've had... Is Buddha left the session? Oh, Buddha's showing he's left the session here. Yeah, he's greyed out. I'm not too sure what's happened there. And Slacky has now moved up into fourth place. I think he's probably just quickly jumped out. He wasn't too worried. He's got a good gap there. The next place is for Martin, so he may have done to do a little pit stop himself. Yeah, I've just seen that. Slacky as well. Oh dear, have we got a possible server issue here, do you think? Yeah, looks like we have. Okay, so here we are. We were in lap 31, going into lap 32. Looks like we've hit possible server issue. Saw Buddha go out. Then we saw Slacky and John also go out. Nobody else has yet. So hopefully we should be able to get these guys back in. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening. I don't know, because I haven't actually seen them come out. They still haven't grayed out on the actual game, so they're still showing as being in there. I don't know if that's an issue that can be resolved. Angernicki's got a 3-second time penalty. And John, unfortunately, has now lost his third place, obviously, due to this. Has released Gamble now into second. Loser out of this. Slacky and Buddha, obviously they're okay because, well, they got 11 seconds, but obviously it won't be long before Martin and Stoner close in that gap on them. So they've probably got about 3 laps to resolve the issue. They're still showing as greyed out, although I haven't seen them actually go out of the game as yet. So hopefully we'll have some sort of idea as to what's happening fairly soon. Angernicki's also dropped out, has he? Let's have a look. Yeah, I can see that. He's greyed out. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, I just received an SMS from Renault driver there, Buddha, saying that we could well be looking at a possible server crash. I'm sure that that is endeavouring to be resolved as we speak. Grimm's just received a 3-second time penalty as well. So these guys are still in the game. They haven't actually dropped out as such, although there is obviously a server issue going on. So we'll look to resolve that ASAP. In the meantime, that has cost certainly one of the drivers, John F1. And it may well cost Buddha and Slacky very soon as well, because Martin's now down to a 5-second gap to those guys. So I don't know if they will, well, if they can, you know, the other guy's going to sort of back off and do their own sort of virtual safety car. I mean, at this stage of the game, if it was possible to initiate the virtual safety car, I think that might that would certainly ease the issue, because we've now got Martin BMW closing up on the Renault of Buddha in 5th place. So it won't be very long before he'll be looking to make a move on those guys. And there we can see, there's the Renault. Martin can't really ease off. He's got Stoner right up his gearbox as they're coming through turns, I think it's 9 and 10 there. Yeah, it is. So they're approaching the pits hairpin. And there we see the 2 Renaults there of Buddha and Slacky. And Bass has just received a 3-second time penalty. I don't think he's going to be overly preoccupied with that. Oh! When is Stone looking to make a move on Martin here? They're coming to turns 14 and 15. Let's have a look here. I think he is. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I think, to be fair, Martin's going to have to give that to Stoner, because he certainly cut that corner. I think that's going to be one that's going to be contested. I mean, was Stoner close enough to overtake anyway? Let's have a look now. They're coming up to turns 4, 5. Oh, I think he's made it stick. Yeah, he has. He's made it stick because they're coming into turn 6. 7 and 8 there. So that has given Buddha and Slacky a little bit of breathing space. I think they're back now. Yeah, they're back. So they're back in. So the loser here really has been John, unfortunately, because he's dropped right down. Has he got engine problems, or is he just opening her up here? Let's have a look. Don't think he's got engine issues. So the real loser there, unfortunately, was John. Bass, obviously, he's pretty safe. He's got a 14-second gap to second place Gamble now. So Gamble started in 16th, has moved up to second place. Fantastic race from him. I mean, he has been helped, unfortunately, with a server issue, but hey, that's life. Slacky for Renault is now in 3rd place. Stoner for Haas is in 4th place. Martin for Toro Rosso is in 5th. Grim for Red Bull is in 6th. Buddha is in the pits, and he's putting on the super softs. So we've just seen him go in there, super softs. John F1 is also pitting. Let's see what John goes on to. He's going on to the ultra soft. So, oh no, he's gone to the softs. Sorry. So John's looking to go to the end of the race on the softs. Buddha's gone on to the super softs. So he's looking to certainly get at least another 20, 25 laps, 26 laps, I would have thought. So let's have a look. That's 50, 60. That could possibly take him to the end of the race. So Grim has now moved up for Red Bull into 6th place. Martin for Toro Rosso in 5th place. And Martin's been doing a great job. He's been keeping, you know, pretty much everyone at bay behind him. So he's done a really good job there. Stoner, he's going to be a happy man. He's moved up to 4th place now. Not too sure what his pits are. Let's have a quick look at that. So Stoner has pitted twice. Slacky's pitted twice. Gamble and Bass have only pitted them once. Okay, so that's interesting. So we've got Stoner in 4th place. Then we have 5th place Martin in the Toro Rosso, 6th place Grim in the Red Bull, 7th place Buddha in the Renault. So he's also suffered unfortunately from that issue that they had, although he did pit, as I said. Anganiki in the Force India, 8th. John, he has suffered unfortunately. He's dropped down to 9th, although he has pitted as well. Then we have Miguel in the 2nd Toro Rosso in 10th. Peter in the Williams, steady 11th there, and Elfren in the Force India, steady 13th. Sorry, 12th, I do apologise. So, moving back up again, let's move back up the field. So there we have Bass. He's our race leader at this moment in time. He's on the super softs. He pitted, where was I? Lap 28 on the softs. So I would expect him to be going at least another 10 to 15 laps on these super softs. As I say, the load is obviously getting lighter because the fuel load's getting lighter as well, so the speeds will start to increase. Gamble, well, what can I say about Gamble? I mean, he suffered a penalty from Monaco, put him at the back of the grid, started in 16th place. We have had a few DNFs, but even so, he's managed to move up to 2nd place. So, yeah, well, he was moving so quick. I mean, within the first 3 laps, he'd moved up 6 positions. So he was really tearing through the field. So he really, I think, you know, if he keeps it together, I think he's certainly got a podium place. So let's see how he manages to maintain that. Slacky then is in 3rd place, and he's a good 40 seconds behind the race leader at this moment in time. So good what? Half a lap behind race leader for Renault there, but that's a steady 3rd place. Then we've got Stoner for first driver in this instance is ahead of John. He's in 4th place, so he's starting to move up on the Renault Slacky there. Then we've got Grim 10th, Buddha for Renault 6th, John 2nd Haas is currently in 7th, Anganiki, Force India 9th, Martin. Oh, and is he making a move there? Yes, he is. Martin just made the move there. We caught it on Anganiki. I think as they were coming through turns 9 and 10. Yes, it was. Yeah, because they're coming up to the pit hairpin now. So that was turns 9 and 10. So Martin made a move there. Nice job on Anganiki. That's putting Anganiki down to 9th place now. Miguel, 2nd Toro Rosso driver there, is in 10th. Peter in the Williams is in 11th. And 12th is Elfrens in the Force India. So moving back up again, let's have a look here where we are. Stoner, he's got that gap down to Slacky now to just over 2 seconds. And then we've got Anganiki obviously still very close there to the Toro Rosso that just overtook him. But Toro Rosso I think is starting to pull away there. So let's get back with Stoner. So Stoner does have the Renault in line of sight now. So they're coming out of pits hairpin 12-13 along that back straight. First DRS leading them into turns 14 and 15. Coming out of turn 15, get on the start finish straight, then hit the 2nd DRS point. Takes you over the line. There we are. So where are we? He's closing it down. He's got it to 2.2, so 200ths of a second. Other than that, we've pretty much evened out. So we'll stay with 4th place Stoner because, as I say, he's looking to encroach now. He's got that gap down to under 2 seconds. And while we're waiting for him to move in, well, Bass has just set the fastest time, 1:14.187. So he's going to be looking to make a move fairly soon. So he pitted lap 28. So he's done 13 laps on those super softs. I think we might see him come in possibly lap 50, which would be interesting. So at this moment in time, let's quickly run through where we are with the drivers. So we've got Ferrari for the teams. Sorry, I'll run with the teams first. We've got Ferrari currently in 1st place. And then we have Haas in 2nd and Mercedes in 3rd, and that's 172, 107 and 86 points respectively. As I say, we don't have Bo running tonight, so Ferrari have only got the 1 driver, but obviously they should be able to maintain their team leadership, and indeed I would expect that also from a points point of view they should be able to maintain their positions from the driver standings as well. That said, obviously Bass will have the advantage, so he could well possibly move ahead of Bo if he keeps in this 1st place. See, 29, 99. Yeah, he would move ahead of his teammate Bo. So we then have Gamble. Now Gamble obviously is driving for McLaren. He would stand to get some good points here as well, which you could possibly move him up to, let's have a look here, 3rd place in the championship, overtaking Stoner. Yeah, but then again, it depends how many points Stoner gets as well. So these 2 drivers here, they're really close. They are fighting at this moment in time for 3rd place on the Drivers' Championship, and there's literally, you know, only a few points in it. Yeah, they've certainly been doing very well without any doubt on that. So we could see some movement around here. Renault obviously could pick up some valuable points as well, so that could move them up ahead of McLaren and Mercedes. But then again, with Gamble up there, he's going to be defending that position. So they got 54 points, Renault to McLaren 73 points. So as long as Gamble maintains his position, then they would stay in that place. Mercedes obviously could suffer. They could drop down to 4th, moving McLaren up to 3rd, and possibly Renault as well, so they might even drop down to 5th. Haas, let's have a look here. Haas, well, they're on 107 points, so I would say that with Stone in the position that he is, Haas should be safe in their position of 2nd team for this season 3 of 2017 for F1 tonight. So we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. We're on lap 43 of 70 laps. So just over halfway through the race. We've seen a few issues. We've seen some DNFs. We've seen, unfortunately, my co-host for tonight, Gamble, go out on turn 7 and 8. Just overcooked it as he was going around the corner. Slid, took it out. We've seen DNFs also from Slim, Swoof and Phenomenon. And got Boyke as well, but I'm not too sure what happened with Boyke on there. I think he may just have dropped out. We've had a server issue which did mix things around a bit, did allow Gamble to take 2nd place from John, F1 in the Haas, so rather unfortunate there, but that's the way it worked out. And we had some other losses there with Renault as well from Buddha. So as we ran at this moment in time, we've got Ferrari in 1st place, Bass, McLaren in 2nd place, Gamble, Renault 3rd place, Slacky, and Haas 4th place, Stoner. And just to mix it up a little bit more, we got Red Bull 5th place, Grim. So we're riding with Stoner at this moment in time. Although saying that, we are seeing that Slacky's starting to close in on Gamble. So this should be interesting. We've got Stoner who's been starting to bear down on the Renault of Slacky. And we now have Slacky starting to bear down on the McLaren of Gamble. Gamble is running on the Super Softs, and Slacky and Stoner are running on the Ultra Softs. Stoner's just gone into the pits, So he's pitting. So Slacky's now pretty much got open road, but he's going to be looking to pit, I would think, fairly soon himself. We've seen these ultra softs running more or less between sort of 15. I think the highest was probably about 22, 23 laps. Somebody took it up to. I don't even not sure if that about that. So Stoner's coming out on the super softs. Just have a quick look, see where we are with regards to stops here. Okay, so everyone's done at least 2 stops apart from Anganiki, Miguel and our race leader Bass. Bass, as I said, obviously went from softs on lap 28 to this current super softs. So you see Bass now, as I say, he's about half a lap ahead of the other guys at this moment in time. So he's coming up to the pits hairpin now. Coming out of that through turns 12 and 13, little kink there. He hasn't got DRS, but he doesn't need it really, to be fair. He's coming down the back straight. Although saying that, yeah, no, he's still staying out. So there we have Gamble and Slacky now. The gap's opened up a little bit more, so Slacky's got 2-second gap now on Gamble. So is he just biding his time? Is he waiting to see if he pits? Staying ahead of him? Not too sure what's happening there. So here comes Gamble down that back straight now. Slacky coming in behind. Is Slacky going to pit? Lap 46. Let's have a look. Gamble goes through. No. And Slacky goes through as well. So they're both still out there. Should see Bass now coming up to, yep, pits hairpin. See what he does here. Comes through that little kink there, turns 12 and 13. I don't think we're going to see Bass come in till about lap 50. Between laps 50 and 55 possibly, because I mean he's got a good, well mind you, he's got a good lead there, 40 odds. Oh no, he's still staying out there. Yeah, I'll stick with my prediction. That's it. I'd say he's going to come in on lap 52. Okay, 52 I think he's going to come in. So Portman, what do you think, lap 52 or less? Yeah, where are you going, 55? Come on, give me a number. 56. Okay. 57. 57, okay, so Portman's going with lap 57. I'm going with lap 52. Let's see who gets it. Let's see who gets it. We still haven't established what we're going to put on it, actually. Yeah, well, I mean, as I say, this is really difficult because this is where the pits start coming into play now. They've all pitted twice. So they've all pitted twice in that top 5, at least twice, apart from Bass. So Bass really, I mean, he's got the advantage here. He's got a 42-second lead on Gamble, so I really can't see... I think it pretty much will. But we'll see what happens. Here we are. We're running with Grim. He's in 4th place. He's a happy man. Although saying that, he's got a Stoner bearing down on him. Well, it's good to see Red Bull's back up there because they haven't really been having the best season. And here we are now with Gamble. Slacky coming round. So they're still staying out. Interestingly enough, Slacky is on the Ultra Softs. So And I'm sure he pitted before Gamble did as well. Exactly, yeah. So here we are, coming up to lap 49 with our race leader now, and he's going through lap 49. It's Gamble. Slacky still in third place in the Renault there. Then we have Grimm. Oh, Bass just set the fastest time again. 1:14.035, I think that was. 3-second time penalty for Miguel F1 in the Toro Rosso. There we have Stoner. Stoner's starting to close in on Grimm there. So let's stay with these two guys here. Oh, is he going to overtake him? He's moving on the dirty side of the track. Does he make a stick? Yes, he does. Brave move there. So Stoner there, moving on to the dirty side of the track as they're approaching turns 7 and 8. Oh, sorry, 9 and 10. Coming up to the hairpin now. Makes the move on Grimm and takes 4th place. So great job here from both Stoner and Gamble. As I say, these guys started 16th and 17th respectively. I say we've had a few DNFs, but that said, well, Stoner's 14 seconds behind Slacky at this moment in time. But Slacky is on those ultra softs. We're on lap 49, so we've got 21 laps to go. So if he was going to pit, now would be the time. I tend to agree with you on that one, Portman. Let's see what he does. So he's coming through turns 9 and 10. Starting to approach the pit hairpin as he comes down that hill. You can see the race leader ahead of him. Alfred's just think he had a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. Oh dear, poor Alfred. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference to him. So are we going to see the Renault of Slacky come in? Yes, he is. So Slacky's coming in. You think it is? Stoner's going to make that. Yeah, it is. Stoner's going to make that move on him. So Stoner's going to take 3rd place. He's coming through the chicane now. Slacky's only just going in to get his tyres. So he's going to go down to 6th place, 5th place. Yeah, so Slacky moves down to 5th place, just ahead of his teammate. So fantastic job here from Gamble and from Stoner. Really great job. Grimm's got his place back. Well, not quite, but he's maintaining 4th place. Then we have Slacky's come out in 5th place, and he's already starting to come down on the back of the Red Bull there. And there we have Buddha, his teammate, is in 6th place. John in the Haas, 7th place. Martin in the Toro Rosso, 8th. Anganiki in the Force India, 9th. Peter in the Williams, 10th. Sorry. Miguel just moving aside there for Bass. So Miguel is in 11th place, Elfren in 12th. So here old Slacky now. Oh, who's that going in there? That was Grimm. So Grimm's gone in, so Slacky's moved up to 4th place now. Buddha now moves up to 5th place. Here comes John. John moves up to 6th place. So Grimm was in 3rd. Pitted, come out in 7th. So John in the Haas now has moved up to 6th place. Buddha in the Renault is up to 5th place. Slacky in the Renault is in 4th place. Stoner in the Haas, who started 17th, is now 3rd. Gamble in the McLaren, who started 16th, is now 2nd. So these guys really put up a fantastic race. And our race leader there, Bass, quite comfortable race lead. He's got 42 seconds. Just over half a lap ahead of his closest opposition. Everyone's running on super softs, apart from John. He's running on the softs, but he's looking to go to the end of the race on those. Unfortunately, had a bit of a server issue. He pitted at the end of that. And a 3-second time penalty again for Miguel. So Miguel's going to have a few points, 3 seconds to add to the end of this race, as are a few other drivers, I think. Elfren, I think Anger Nicky as well, he's got a few to put on there. So there's John looking at the back of Bass there. Oh, what have we got? Yeah, now we have Slacky in 4th, Stoner is in 3rd, Gamble and Bass. Let's have a look on here now. So let's have a look at the pits. So Bass was still waiting for him to come out. It's lap 53. He still hasn't pitted. So that's my guess of lap 52 out of the window. So there we go, he's just started lap 54. Quite comfortably in the lead there. Whoa. So here we are. Lap 54 is Gamble, Stoner in 3rd, Slacky in 4th, Buddha in 5th. There's John. I think John's having his own little private race against Bass there, even though he's in 6th place. I think he's just trying to see whether he can actually maintain the pace there with the Ferrari, to be quite honest with you. Issue here. I think we've got a bit of an issue. Oh damn. Damn. We've got a bit of a mixer issue here, I think. Streaming issue. Back with this ASAP, so apologies for that. Bit of a streaming issue there, so that is now resolved. Okay, so here we are now, we're in lap 55. This is F1 Tonight 2017, season 3, race 6, Canada. And looks like Slacky's trying to do his own private little race against the Ferrari there as well. Not too sure what's happening there. No, it wasn't Slacky, it was Buddha. Okay, so this is interesting. We've got 6th and 5th place, Buddha and John F1, Renault and Haas respectively. And they're sort of racing just behind our race leader, Bass. They are currently in 5th and 6th place respectively, but they're not making it easy for Bass in any way, shape or form. Grim just received a 3-second time penalty, so these two guys obviously fighting out between themselves, and unfortunately Bass has got caught up a little bit in the middle of that. He is obviously ahead of them. Yeah, that's alright, I've resolved it now. Apologies for those on Mixer. We did have a little bit of a streaming issue there, but that has been quickly resolved. So here we are now. So we are currently on lap 58 of 70 laps, as I said, for F1 tonight. 2017 season 3 has been quite an interesting race. We've seen some fantastic racing. We've seen a few issues, technical issues unfortunately, but those have all been resolved, which is good to hear. Well, we've had a few DNFs. I've got Portmer in with me at the moment. Unfortunately crashed out in turn 7 earlier on in the race, but was kind enough to come and join us and give a little bit of backup on the commentary here, and some opinions as well. It's lap 57. We're still waiting for our race leader to come in, so hang on, it was lap 57 I think you called. So to be fair, I can't see him coming in either, but you never know. As he comes around the pits to let's have a look, see if he goes in or not. Lap 57. Did you call it right, Portmer? No, he's staying out. He's staying out. He doesn't feel like coming in at this moment in time. I think he's quite enjoying watching the fight going off in the background there between Buddha and John. So let's join that, because that's some nice tight racing here, and they really are. So Buddha is oh, and John's made a mistake there into turn 2. Has it cost him? Let's have a look. Renault's moving up. We've got Grimm right up the gearbox of the Renault as well in the Red Bull. But unfortunately, I don't think Buddha managed to take advantage of that. He may have had an issue himself, because he was obviously defending against the Red Bull tight in behind him there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. So here we go now. That Renault there is not giving up. He's looking to close the gap down as much as he possibly can. 3-second time penalty for Miguel in the Toro Rosso by looks of it. So he's got DRS. Can he make anything of it? Let's have a look as they're coming to turns 14 and 15 here. Oh, rough over the curbs there. Second DRS. Turn 1 into turn 2. But he's just not making it stick there. So the Haas is already starting to pull away from the Renault. But we've got Grimm in the... Grimm's just received a 3-second time penalty, exceeding track limits as well. Got Grimm there in the Red Bull, starting to bear down on the Renault of Buddha. So this is for 6th place. Can he make it stick? Is he? No, I think they can't quite get it on. He's maintaining that gap. It's about 3/4 of a second. Approaching the DRS point, so he's got DRS on the Renault. The Renault unfortunately doesn't, so let's see what happens, see if he can gain any advantage out of this. The Renault pretty much looking to shut the door there for him. Turns 14 and 15. Yeah, second DRS point. Now Buddha's right up behind John F1 now. Oh, is he going to make the move? He's making a move into turn 1, and he's made it stick. It's turn 2. Fantastic job there. So Renault takes the place back from John F1 in the Haas in turn 1 as they're coming into lap 60, or 59 as it was for them. 60 now as our race leader comes over the line. And then that puts Grimm behind John now. So Buddha's regained his place, 5th place there for the Renault. Slacky's teammate is currently in 4th place. Martin's just got a 3-second time penalty. Now I shouldn't think John's going to be very happy with that. John is running on the softs, whereas Buddy's running on the super softs. Let's have a look how many stops they've had. Both had 2 stops. Advantage tyre-wise is obviously to the Renault there. And we're at lap 60 now. Yeah, I think we're pretty much looking at that. Oh, and the Red Bull's looking to move out the outside there. Oh, Grimm's 3-second time penalty. Exceeding track limits again. I think he's looking to move out on the outside there as they're coming into turns 14 and 15, but just overcooked it. So there we have Slacky in fourth place, sorry. Stoner for Haas is in 3rd place. Gamble for McLaren is in 2nd, and Bass, as we know, he has pitted, I think. Has he pitted? Oh, Bass has pitted. He pitted lap 61. Oh, lap 60, the end of lap 60, effectively. So that still gives him a good 20-second, well, 19-second gap on 2nd place Gamble. We've got 9 laps to go. There we go, 9 laps to go. So Renault, if they maintain these places, they're going to be picking up valuable points, 4th and 5th place. That will certainly help them out. We've got John for Haas is in 6th place, but his teammate Stoner is in 3rd place. Then we've got Grimm for Red Bull, he's in 7th place. Unfortunately, his teammate DNF'd. We've got Martin in the Toro Rosso, he's in 8th place. His teammate Miguel was in 12th. Anganiki in the Force India is in 9th place. Peter, F1 in the Williams, is in 12th place. And Elfrin in the 2nd Force India is currently in 11th place. Saying that though, looks like he's under a bit of pressure here from Miguel in the Toro Rosso as they're coming through the pit hairpin through turns 12 and 13. They're on the back straight. He's got DRS enabled. Is he looking to possibly make a move on this Force India as they come through turns 14 and 15? Oh, he's got a good line through there, so he's certainly closed up on the 2nd DRS point. He's going to take advantage of it as they come into turn 1. He's right up the gearbox of that Force India. Turn 1, oh, not quite. Turn 2, going a little bit wide there. Doesn't make it stick, but I think we're going to be seeing that Toro Rosso make a move on this Force India pretty soon. He's right up the gearbox there. He's did they touch? Did he get front wing damage there? Not too sure whether he did or not. Certainly he's dropped down a little bit. Yeah, so Bass has just set the fastest time. So moving across there for the Haas. So Bass has put on the Ultra Softs for his last stint there of 10 laps, or 9 laps as it effectively was. So he's unsurprisingly set the fastest time. Obviously carrying very little fuel now as they're approaching the end of the race. Then we have Gamble, started in 16th place. Fantastic, really is. Moved up to 2nd in the McLaren, and likewise Stoner. Stoner started in 17th place. He's moved up to 3rd place. So we got a crash. Oh my God! Let's have a look. It's Elfrins in the Force India. I think that was turn 7 and 8 again, wasn't it? Oh yeah, it was turn 7. Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame. So Elfrins in the Force India there went out. DNF turn 7. Here we are running with our race leader. We've got virtual safety car. So they're running under virtual safety car at this moment in time. There we saw it, turn 7. Approach there. Was it it turn 7? No, it wasn't turn 7. That was turn 5, turn 4. Turn 4, so just as they're coming out. I thought it was turn 7, it was actually turn 4. So unfortunately there, yeah, that was the set of turns just before where you went off, unfortunately there, Gamble. So here we see our race leader, lap 64, just comes around the pit hairpin there, coming down the back straight towards turns 14, 15. So Gamble, second place for McLaren, Stoner, third place for Haas, Slacky, fourth place for Renault, Buddha, fifth place for Renault, Grim, sixth place for Red Bull, John in the Haas dropped back to seventh place. Unfortunately, he's having a bit of a fight there. Fifth with Buddha, took the place. Buddha took it back. Looks like Grim's taking advantage of some error that he's had there. Well, John is also running on the soft, so we have Martin in the Toro Rosso. He's currently in 8th, Anganicky 9th, Peter in the Williams is 10th, and Miguel for the second Toro Rosso is in 11th place. So everything pretty much evening out. We got lap 65 of this 70 lap race. This is F1 Tonight 2017 season 3 race 6. Certainly had quite a bit of action on this. It's a nice fast track and fast race. We've seen good strategy be applied. We've seen some very aggressive, fast, hard driving, particularly from Gamble, although obviously Stoner has certainly done very well himself as well. So he's moved up equal amount of positions. He's moved up from 17th to 2nd, so 15 places. Sorry, 17th to 3rd, and Gamble likewise from 16th to 2nd. So they've certainly put in, but Gamble was certainly putting in that charge initially through the field. He'd already moved up 6 places, so he certainly started the race very determined. You know, and sometimes that's what it does. You know, when you get these penalties, obviously the penalty was incurred from Monaco. It does give you that extra adrenaline, that extra rush to obviously look to do the best that you possibly can and show what you can do. So we've got Grim starting to bear down here, as I thought, on the Renault in the closing stages here. So the Red Bull is starting to apply pressure now to that Renault as they're coming down the back straight. He's got the advantage now, obviously, of the DRS as they're coming into turns 4:15. He's taken the right hand side, so is he looking to cut in ahead of this Renault? And he has. Yeah, he's taken the place, although he has now incurred a 3-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits again. So he's got quite a few points to add, I think, at the end. So whether he maintains that position or not, we've yet to see. So there we have Grim taking 5th place from Buddha as they're coming through turns 14 and 15. He's quite a way behind Slacky, so there's no way is he going to be able to get up to 4th place before the end of this race. But what we will see is obviously that Renault of Buddha, I don't think he's going to let it lie. I think he's going to be pushing as hard as he possibly can and get that place back. So let's stay with these guys for the moment, because I think this is where we could potentially see some interesting racing, let's say. Race, we're on lap 67, coming up to the pits hairpin now. So as I say, we've got a race here for 5th place. But has been pretty much fighting for this place for quite a few laps now. He had to defend Stoner, 3-second time penalty. Okay, that's not going to make a great deal of difference, although if Slacky pushes, it could. So we'll see. And I think Stoner did actually incur a penalty earlier on, so we might well see, and I'm not saying that we will, but it's possible that we might well see Stoner possibly lose his podium place due to time penalties that he may incur. And I always encourage people, when you're watching, obviously we do run with F1 Tonight with strict rules, so you incur penalties as soon as you have 4 wheels outside that white line. And we do see, obviously, as with any driving, that hitting those curbs is the way to do it, and sometimes you get it wrong. So we do see quite a few time penalties, so do stick with it right to the end, and let's see what sort of difference this makes. So okay, John is really starting to close down this gap now. It's 0.2 of a second. They're coming to the pit hairpin. So John is closing in on Buddha, but Buddha isn't closing in on Grim. So is he having issues? We've got Buddha's running on the super soft, John is running on the softs. So let's have a look here as he comes into turns 14 and 15. He's certainly putting the pressure down. And there we have our race leader behind these guys now. So our race leader is starting lap 69. He's got 1 lap to go. He's bearing down on these guys here. So John is closing in now on 6th place Buddha. Buddha was hoping to close in on 5th place, taken from him by Grim, but I don't think he's going to have an opportunity now. We've only got effectively 1 lap to go, so unlikely we're going to see that move happening. Martin's just incurred another time penalty now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with our race leader as we start to approach the final lap. We're going through the pit hairpin now. There's only 5 more turns to go before we get over that start-finish line. And there we have 4th place Saki ahead of him. Was that Buddha? No, that's Buddha. So yeah, it's Buddha there. So Bass moving between Buddha and John there, 6th and 7th place. And Bass just incurred a 3-second time penalty, although I don't think he's going to be too worried about that. So our race leader now starts lap 70, coming round turn 2. He's sandwiched between a fight for 6th place at this moment in time, between Buddha in the Renault and John in the Haas. So really he needs to get out of that. Obviously difficult one for the Renault driver to call, because he certainly doesn't want to give the advantage to John in the Haas. So he needs to move aside, otherwise he's going to incur points. But equally, he doesn't want to move too far aside. That gives John the opportunity to take advantage of it as well. So not always an easy one. So they're coming up to the pit hairpin now. Here's our race leader. Tight in behind the 6th place Renault there. They're coming up to turns 14 and 15. As we come to the final corner now of F1 Tonight, Season 3, Canada GP. And there we have our race leader and winner, Bass F1 for Ferrari. Fantastic job there. We've got Gamble in the McLaren. He's just coming round now, 2nd place. Now we've only got a 7-second gap between Stoner and Slacky, which is 2nd, 3rd and 4th place, and this is for the podium. Gamble is safe. He comes into 2nd place there. Fantastic job there. He's happy. He's very happy. Stoner come across as 3rd, although I will say that is provisional, because we've got Slacky coming over the line now, and he's in 4th place. Now he's only 7.5 seconds behind Stoner. Yeah, I think definitely, you know, drivers for this race are undoubtedly Gamble and Stoner. Having watched the race, I've got to be honest, I would give it to Gamble, because I think Gamble really, you know, did a fantastic job from the start. But both of them have done very, very well indeed. I mean, these guys started